Okay, so when you have a question like this, where it's not very obvious how you can factor this, you can use completing the squares. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to move this 1 to the other side, and then I'm going to complete this square with this. So you take the 5, divide it by 2, you get 2.5, and then you take the 2.5, and then you square that. And I believe that's going to be, let me use my calculator. Okay, so you take 2.5 times 2.5, and you get 6.25. Okay, so your 6.25 gets added to both sides. So you get x squared minus 5x plus 6.25 equals -1 plus 6.25. So you have to add this to both sides. Now you can factor. And it's going to be a perfect square. This is going to be 2.5, 2.5, negative, negative, minus, minus. Okay. These two multiplied together gives you that. When you add them together, you get this. Okay. And then all of a sudden, then over here, you have 5.25. Okay. And then you take the square root. So x minus 2.5. Here's the square, right? 5.25. And you're going to take the square root of both sides. And then you have x minus 2.5 is equal to, okay, and then you take the square root of 5.25. So you take square root of 5.25. And you get, and I'm going to change this, 2.29, okay? I'm just going to 2.29. So with that, you're going to add 2.5. Oh, this is plus and minus. So x is equal to positive 2.29 plus 2.5 and negative 2.29 plus 2.5. So this one will give you 2.29 plus 2.5 is 4.79. And this one is going to be basically 2.5 minus 2.5 minus 2.29 is equal to 0.21. Okay, so those are your two approximate answers, but they're good enough. Okay, so you can even, if you round it, you can say it's, 4.8 and 0.2, either one. Okay, so that's the answer. That's what x is equal to, these two answers. This is a point. Okay, let's answer to these two answers. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Let's look at number 8. Okay, this is definitely, they are telling you to use completing the squares. Okay, so we're going to complete the squares just like we did with the last question. So I want to show you this again. Equals 20. Okay, I'm leaving room here because I got to complete the square. When you complete the square, you take the 4, this number in the middle, you divide it by 2, and then you square that. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then you square the 2, which is 4. So you add 4, add 4. Okay, I think you guys got that part, but you didn't finish the question when you were doing it. This is now you got to factor this. X plus 2, x plus 2 is equal to 24. Take the square root, you get x plus 2 equals the square root of 24. okay? You take the square root of 24, and you get 4.898. I'm going to write 4.9, okay? 4.9 plus or minus. Okay, now I'm going to subtract 2. X is equal to positive 4.9 minus 2. X is also equal to negative 4.9 minus 2. So now I have positive 2.9, and I also have negative 6.9. And those are my answers. Okay, that's how you solve. When you say solve, that means they want to know what x is. In this case, there are two possible x's because this is a quadratic equation where x is raised to the second power. That means that there are two possibilities for x, and that's what we have. Okay, and now number 9, this is to solve this equation. Again, we're just taking the square root of both sides. Okay, so I'm going to take the square root, take the square root. If I do that, I get x minus 5 is equal. See, the square root and this thing, they cancel each other out. Right? They cancel. So all you have is left is this. And then you take the square root of 8, which is plus or minus. The square root of 8 is 2.82. So I'm just going to round that to 2.8. Okay. So now I have plus 5, x is equal to positive 2.8 plus 5, 5, and also negative 2.8 plus 5. So the first one will be 7.8, the second one will be negative 2.2. I'm sorry, positive 2.2. So these are my two solutions for x.